Many folks don't know the story of Premier. Premier Heating and Air was founded in 2001 with just a small group of people. Initially, Premier's handful of people went to work with a core value and set of principles based on a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. With one move in 2005 and then a leap of faith in 2010, Premier is now in its current location and now one of the largest heating and air companies in Middle Georgia. Still, every day our people walk through our warehouse doors and into the doors of your home with the same core value. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. Call Premier Heating and Air today and get your AC system checkup for just $49. Need a new system? Get up to $2,000 on qualified systems. Log on to dublin.premierishere.com. The choice is clear. Choose Premier. Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company.
Welcome everybody, I'm glad to have with me today Heath Taylor. I'm kind of turning the tables. We've done this a couple other times. I thought I'd turn them a little bit, but we got good news from the Chamber. We're starting a new foundation. Tell us about it.
Yes, sir. So the Dublin-Laurens County Chamber of Commerce is happy to announce we have established a 501c3 workforce and education foundation called the Dublin-Laurens County Chamber Community Foundation, LLC. And James, it's a lot of great work, I hope, that's going to be done in the community to address some of the workforce shortages that we have here. But a 501c3, I want to make sure real quick to explain, is a little different than the 501c6, which is our Chamber of Commerce. So any contributions made to this C3 would be 100% tax deductible.
And that gives them quite an incentive to be a part of this. Number one, it is tax deductible. Number two, you're helping the community. And a lot of your foundation is built around education. Why is that?
So a lot of the work that we will be doing is built around education and literacy efforts. You know, it's not a secret, and I hope it's that people are aware we have a terrible need for third grade reading efficiency in our community, not putting a blame on anyone in any part of the education system. I think most of us realize these shortages do not happen when the child reaches the third grade. But James, as a state, we're at about 32%, and I think as a community, we're in the teens, and maybe even a little bit less in some of our schools there. So, you know, the statistics tell us that 75% of the kids that aren't reading on level by third grade are more likely to be incarcerated. Yeah. So we feel like that's a huge, you know, in economic development and the growth and the future of our community.
Well, we're going to pay one way or another.
Yeah.
We're going to pay as a community, as a state. Well, you and I were both in the, I call Educational Summit the other week at Middle Georgia University. And the one, I took a picture of it and showed it to some teacher friends of mine. One being my daughter-in-law, she has a master's degree in education, takes it very seriously about and you remember, I know it had to stick out to you too, 67% of our fourth graders are not proficient in reading, math across the board. And she said, I'm surprised it's not higher. And it may be here, you know, maybe because she teaches in the Lawrence County school system. That was unbelievable, that you're talking about 7 out of 10 are not proficient. That's why this foundation and people like this is where we can all be a part of it. Exactly. We can all contribute to this. We can all, whether you want to contribute $100, $1,000, $10,000, we don't want to limit you $100,000, you know, whatever you like, because we're going to pay. I really believe that we're going to pay one way or another.
We will, James, and I think just as you mentioned, the opportunities here, there are a lot of good efforts that are going on in the community already, and so we've got some partners, the Lawrence County Literacy Task Force, our hospitals, our educational institutions, not only our primary, elementary, high school, but our post-secondary. So we got a lot of great partners that have already come together, that have already invested in the foundation, and we've got some great initiatives and efforts planned and hopefully underway.
Well, some of the things on the list you already do. This would just give people 100% tax deduction, like helping furnish tools and equipment like to the CTAE programs. I know a few years back you bought for East Laurens a 3D printer, is that right?
We bought 3D printing technology for the high school and the middle school. We've been able to furnish tools for the automotive department out at West Laurens High School. And hopefully we will continue with those such efforts. But then in addition to that, again, focusing more on this literacy aspect and early childhood learning, because that's what you got to do to fix a problem like that, is you got to get to the root of the problem and what's causing this. And so, you know, I love our efforts. We got a great initiative to provide every child born at Fairview Park Hospital. They can sign up for that First Readers, and they can get a book sent home and get that book. I forget if it's maybe throughout age 5. Yeah. But if we don't have a parent at home, one that can read the book and two that's willing to read the book, then our efforts are not going to be fruitful. Yeah. So we've got to get to the base of the issue here and figure out, okay, what needs to be done to make sure that the parent can read and that the child is being read too.
And it's so important. We've always read to our children. It's fun, first of all, and to see them getting it. I know my kindergartner, Paxton, brings home a book every day for us to read, and every day he gets a new book. And now he's at the point, because we do sight words, they do sight words in the schools, now he's reading most of the book himself. And it's just really wonderful to see the light come on, you know, and him starting knowing these and pretty big words. Sure. He's using bigger words than I used when I was probably a senior in high school, because kids are so much smarter now. But reading is so important. One of my teacher friends I was talking to said, even math now, when you and I were in school, you didn't have to read to do math. Now you have to read problems and go through a problem-solving technique. So if you can't read, you're not even gonna pass math. So reading is so important. Early childhood, you're looking at doing workshops and helping there, aren't you?
Yeah, so we have September 3rd, we've partnered with Oconee Fall Line Technical College, and we're going to have a summit, a child care summit there. And so if anyone's interested in working in child care, in creating a new facility, building that facility, we're going to have a one-stop shop that day to talk about child care as a whole in Laurens County. If you want to open a daycare, child care facility, here's everything you need to know, from your capacity to what you need to know from the fire marshal, what state legislation and rules and regulations you're going to need to adhere to, what resources are available to you in the community, financing, everything you would want to know. Because right now, unfortunately, you know, and like you mentioned, the GPEE summit the other day, for every 5 students that we would have in daycare or child care facility in our community, we have 2 spaces available for those 5 children. So if you go to a lot of our daycare, child care learning facilities, and I have visited many of them, 30, 60 children on a waiting list is not uncommon for those daycare or child care providers to have. The other part of this is we want to make sure that as many as possible are quality rated. So we don't just want children going to take a nap and getting something to eat and playing, but we want this learning to start taking place early, and the state has mandated quality rated services, and this is a rigorous standard that they meet, and they're 1, 2, or 3-star rated. Out of our daycare, child care facilities in Laurens County, I'm happy to say we're at 87% at least that are quality rated, but we need that number of 2- and 3-star daycare and child care facilities to increase.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing now when I talk to people because of that, daycare centers, I ask them, are they quality rated? It's just habit. So I say that to you, before you put your child in a place, ask them, are they quality rated? But it's amazing the ones we do have now.
Yeah, and that's so important to us in the chamber and the community foundation here. With this quality rated, because again, if we're going to attract and retain young professionals to come into our workforce and our community, one of the first things they want to know is what kind of daycare, child care facilities you have, and are they quality rated? And so if we can far exceed any of our competitors in our region and say we're light years ahead in quality rated child care, I think that's going to give us an edge on recruitment and retention.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dustin Gay. I'm a local orthopedic surgeon with Houston Clinic Orthopedics, and we'd really like to invite everybody to come out to our new office facility to take a look at it. It's a larger space with physical therapy, and we're just excited to have it, and we'd love for people to come out and visit us.
Come by and see us today at our brand new location, the Houston Clinic, Medical Drive in Dublin.
Hi, I'm Tom Dominy. Here at Dublin-Laurens, we pride ourselves on providing the industry's highest quality products at the most competitive pricing. We are a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry, and we can answer your questions and help you get the parts and equipment you need. From mowing to Renee, we carry the plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products you need from the brands you trust. We also carry a great lineup of Milwaukee tools. At Dublin-Laurens, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment, doing things right, one customer at a time. If you have a question, or if you're looking for a hard-to-find part, give us a call. Our experts are ready to help. Order online, give us a call, or come by at 507 Airport Road in Dublin. We're committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day.
All right, boys, if you want to go to college, you have to clear out another one of these.
What if we told you there was a better way to save for your kids' college than pickle jars? Morris Bank's Savings Builder account and moolah makes saving for your kids' college easier than ever. All you have to do is connect the account to your debit card, where it automatically rounds up your purchases to the nearest dollar, depositing that spare change into a moolah account where it will grow into a nice little nest egg for whatever your kids have their sights set on.
Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, I'm talking to Heath Taylor with the Dublin-Laurens County Chamber of Commerce. And however you're watching, we appreciate you today. A lot of you watch us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Old people like me watch TV.
Me too.
Okay, I wasn't going to say, I was going to say young people like you watching on your iPad, iPod. But hey, however you're watching us, we appreciate it. And it seems like more and more people are watching us on those social networks. But you know, we have a shortage of skilled labor. You and I both have been in meetings where it comes up. I hear more skilled labor and mental health issues, which that's nothing to do with this show, but those are the top tier things. How's the chamber going? I know you're downstairs from the Development Authority, but it seems like a lot of these things, through the years you working here, I can't believe how long you've been here.
Been 8 years.
I had hair when you came. Y'all know better than that. 8 years, that's incredible. But I think you and Ryan have worked through some of these details, and you've been listening, obviously, in meetings. And I always watch you in meetings. There's a couple people taking notes. I love to take notes because I'll get home and I missed it, when it came out. But so what about the helping out with the skilled labor?
So several programs that we've already instituted to help address that, Students in Business and Summer Youth Works programs. Again, those will fall under the foundation going forward. We will still partner just like we would with the Development Authority, the Chamber of Commerce, and anybody else in the community that wants to work with us on those initiatives. But we've got to do a better job, James, of making sure that our students, we've got students that have grown up here, live in this community. We had a young man last year from East Laurens that we put to work out at YKK, and we were talking to him at the wrap-up program and said, what did you think about YKK and your experience and what did you learn there? And he said, well, first off, my parents and I had driven by this place hundreds of times during my childhood and high school years, and I never knew what they were doing here. And it's YKK. One of our larger, employees. 1 million square foot under roof there, and he had no idea what they were doing there. So not only on this end of the spectrum in high school or even middle school, but even in the early childhood years, field trips, more field trips to industry. And I know some people might think, well, why do you want to take a bunch of first, second, third graders to an industry? But it does have an impact. Yes. I remember going to where my father worked when I was in the 4th grade. And just because I went there and I knew my dad worked there, well, I thought, well, this might be a good career and something that I want to do. But we've got to get that exposure starting at an early year of the jobs that we have right here in our community. I think that's the most important thing that I could say, is making sure that our students that we want to come back here and work in this community and live and learn and work and play and raise their families, well, they've got to know what opportunities are available for them here.
Yeah, and we're right at the 50,000 mark population in Lawrence County. That's a lot of people, and that includes everybody. But I'd say 35,000 people maybe that are in the workforce or will be in the workforce. And if we get them at these younger ages, like you said, I did the same with my dad. Every time he'd take me to the mill. And I'm like you, I thought I worked there, you know. I mean, and every time you ride by that building, and I had been, our group of ambassadors recently went on a tour of Easter Seals, and I'd been on many tours there, so it gave me the opportunity to watch and listen to the other people. And I was surprised that the people had no idea what Easter Seals did. That's just one place. But we've got all these industries, St. Gobain and Erdrich and you was talking about YKK a while ago. So, and you add all those up, you got thousands of jobs here. And they're going to be adding more jobs. But if they're not skilled, and that's where Oconee Fall Line Technical College comes in too, as you're a big supporter of that.
So yeah, we've got to do a better job of dual enrollment programs and early childhood learning, but in our technical college and Middle Georgia State University and Georgia Military College. I want to give a great shout out to all of them. They're all doing a wonderful job of partnering together and working with our high schools even to make sure that these students have opportunities to come work. They're constantly doing needs assessments and other programs to make sure that they're offering the program and training, and then working with our local industry folks to make sure that they have the resources that they need.
Well, and Oconee Fall Line has over 100 degrees they offer. And just think about it, welding, we was talking about welding off camera a while ago, incredible pay. You can get trained right here in Lawrence County and probably go to work at most industry around here would love to hire you because we want to keep you here. We don't want you going nowhere else. We want to keep you here. Allied nursing, same thing. You can go to Oconee Fall Line, go through the bridge program and continue education at Middle Georgia State University, never drive, and probably graduate with little or no debt. And think about what an accomplishment that is today. So, and think about the good jobs, truck driving. You know, I tell a lot of young people, truck driving, you can go to Oconee Fall Line in like 3.5 months, start out at 60 grand. That's good money. That's really good money starting out at, you gotta be 21 to drive a big truck, but that is a lot of money. So I see you stair-stepping right from these lower grades, early childhood all the way through, and by the time they graduate, they already, in their mind, know which way they're going.
Yeah, I think that's what we got to do to create that pipeline of workers that we're going to need. And with so many new jobs that are coming in new industry that's not only coming here, but in our surrounding communities, we've got to make sure that our students are prepared to step into those jobs. And then again, provide the quality of life aspects that they want to keep them in our community.
Okay, we're going to take one more break and we'll come back and wrap it up.
Students from Oconee Fall Line Technical College have the vision of a brighter future, and it all starts with hands-on training from instructors with years of professional experience. They recognize the value of an education that's affordable, flexible, and close to home. One that offers 130-plus diverse programs in high-demand fields and propels graduates straight into their careers with a strong foundation for success. OFTC students know that brighter futures begin when they choose OFTC. Are you ready to begin? Become an owl. Oconee Fall Line Technical College. Careers begin here.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future? That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
Since 1916, Gravely has been designed, engineered, and made right here in the USA. Whether you prefer gas or electric, every Gravely has been forged with the commercial landscaper in mind. So they're not only built to last, but to also keep you riding comfortably from dawn to dusk. So ask yourself, are you ready to graduate to a Gravely? Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
Hey, I'm TJ with Dublin Outdoors and Power Sports, formerly known as Myers Equipment Supply. We're your full-line dealer for Gravely lawnmower sales and service.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to kind of wrap things up now. If you just joined us, we'll air this again, or you can go to our YouTube channel at WDIG and watch this again and find out what we're talking about with this new nonprofit through the Chamber. Okay, tell us one more time what it is, and if somebody wants to participate, we're going to have the number right there on the screen if you'd like to invest in our community. That's what you're doing, investing in the community.
So the Dublin-Laurens County Chamber Community Foundation, again, a strategic partnership with the hospital, with local business and industry, with our higher ed, even our city and county schools actually are participating and invested in this foundation. Again, this came from a lot of work that our friends at the Development Authority did several years ago. And we took all that information and data and recommendations that they gathered and said, we need a foundation. We need one place in Dublin and Laurens County where we can focus our efforts, realizing our shortages in our literacy, in our daycares and child cares and post-secondary learning and opportunities. So we said, let's bring all of these different people together that are working sometimes in silos, and they're working really hard and doing really good work. But if we united our efforts and had some strategic alliances and collaborations, boy, we could get so much more work done. So we've created this foundation. The biggest thing we're trying to create right now is awareness. Yeah. And we want to make sure people are aware that the foundation is up and running. We have our articles of incorporation. We've got our letter with the IRS. We've got a board of directors in place, and we are ready to hit the ground running. We've got 3 different initiatives right now, and I'm going to wait because I don't want to steal the thunder from everyone on the board there with that to talk about what those are, but I will tell you as early as October of this year, you will actually see efforts and initiatives underway that are partnerships and collaborations through the foundation.
Well, it looks like a solid front. You know, iron sharpens iron, and that's why you get together with all these groups. And we're going to march around the walls of the Laurens County, and we're going to blow our trumpets, and we started blowing them today. So you're going to hear us all through town. It's not the tornado siren doing the test first Wednesday of the month, I think it is. But did you ever realize when you came here what kind of community you was coming into? Could you have fathomed that?
No, so I've seen communities that work well together, but not to perform a mission or a task or a service to the extent that Dublin and Laurens County does. I will tell you, and I would say, James, because I've been here 8 years, if I were not, I would probably be even more surprised. But I believe to a person, when we've made a phone call or sent an email and said, hey, we need your investment and we need you at the table for this foundation, we've not had a single no. Every person that we've asked and said, hey, and matter of fact, we even had 1 or 2 come and say, hey, what do I do or how do I get involved here? Yeah. So that's the outpouring of support that we have, and we're going to continue to need if we're going to meet and exceed these expectations for our future here.
Well, let's all pitch in and help. Let's all do our part. There's nothing too little or nothing too big. You know, you may be watching right now and you say, I'd love to give $100 to that. Call the number on the screen. Your 100 and 50 more people's 100 or 100 more people. But we want you to buy into this like we have. And we do live in a great community. And I tell people, versus cities that you'll see on the news, people in this community, some people might not necessarily like each other, but they get together and accomplish what's good for the community. They go start tomorrow not liking each other a little bit, but that's what's good about this community. We do work together all across Cadwell and Rents and Chester, not Chester, but all the way through and East Dublin. This community works together. There's no doubt about it.
I think so. And you mentioned, you know, not only from a monetary standpoint, but even your time. Yeah. If you can come to our schools, if you can come to our daycares or child care, if you just hold a baby and talk to a baby, read to a baby, if you read to a 3rd grader in a classroom, or you can partner even with one of our high schools. Maybe you have a business and or industry and you have extra supplies or materials sometimes that you're trying to get rid of. check with us and see there may be a need in the classroom for those things that you're trying to get rid of. One of our local schools may be able to use those for learning purposes.
Yeah, we may put them in one of the vending machines we've got scattered around, which is a great program. So absolutely. Okay, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And however you're watching us today, thank you for tuning in.
As a small business owner, when I first bought the company, I had so much on my plate and was worried about what to do next. One thing I didn't have to worry about was health insurance for my employees. Darren came in, laid it out, and just made the process so simple. He'll come, sit down, explain each plan, each option, and it's just been a great relationship. Darren's the type of guy that if it's a good fit, he'll tell you. He's not going to try to sell you something that's not good for you.
Well, Mike and his team have been clients for a long time, and it's just like working with family. My first paying job, I worked at Piggly Wiggly here in Dublin as a bag boy. So things have come full circle that I get to work with Mike and his employees, and we do our very best to answer their questions, fill their needs, and we work out things on an individual basis.
Dealing with Darren is not just Darren by himself. He has his family around him and other team members that we can depend on. We can pick up the phone and call Allison or any of them and get the same professional care. If you're a small business owner in this area, you owe it to yourself to sit down and give Darren a chance to show you what he can do for your business.
They're just really great guys to work with, and part of our family as well. Local and loving it.
Since 1967.
The tradition continues.